Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to another video that I have here for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about Square Enix and Nintendo's relationship when it comes to the Nintendo NX. So one of the big things that I think Nintendo really needs to address with the Nintendo NX is the lack of RPGs. You guys have heard me talk about this various times and I'm always going to bring it up because I think it's a discussion that people really need to be having. One of the things that sets apart the PS4 and Xbox One from the Wii U is the vast amount of RPGs that those other systems have, whether it's The Witcher, Final Fantasy 15 coming out, or other big RPGs that are known to push lots of units. The Wii U lacked that all generation. I think one of the best ways for Nintendo to kind of get that market, or at least get into that market, is having Square Enix as a partner. And the cool thing about all of this is that we do know that Square Enix seems to be putting their chips into the NX boat with a little bit of help from Nintendo. Back in 2015, Square Enix did reveal that Dragon Quest XI will be coming to the PS4, 3DS, and the Nintendo NX. Once they realized that they probably broke an NDA, they decided, oh, well, it's in consideration. But when they went out there on stage on that event in Japanese, they said it's coming to the Nintendo NX. They also talked about Dragon Quest X, which is the game that came out on Wii and on the Wii U, being ported over to the Nintendo NX and also launching there in America. They've always wanted to release Dragon Quest X in America, but the problem with that is that the Wii U just never took off the way that they wanted it to take off, and maybe they didn't think that the cost was worth it there. Square Enix has done a couple things like this in the past when it comes to their IPs. For example, Final Fantasy Type O. That game came out on PSP and it took forever, but they finally ported it to the PS4 and Xbox One when they felt that it made more sense, just because the PSP was a little bit of a dead system in the Western territories. So to them, it made no sense to bring it over. I could see the same thing happening with Dragon Quest X and Dragon Quest XI. Better yet, what if there's a double pack once it comes out? If you buy Dragon Quest XI on the Nintendo NX, you get Dragon Quest X for free, or for a reduced price like they did with Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1. I think that would probably be the best route to go, considering that Dragon Quest isn't as popular here in the States and in the Western territories as it is in Japan, but it's still popular enough to get people to notice the game and buy it. Next, I want to talk about Final Fantasy 15. This is obviously something Nintendo really needs to go after. I really don't care if it's months and months late. It would be about almost a half year late because it comes out in September/October in North America, or worldwide really. So then it would be coming out at the earliest in March as a launch title. So yeah, it would be a few months late or so, but it does not matter. Nintendo needs to establish that they're going to have these massive RPGs and they're going to have third-party support, and getting one of the biggest games released on the PS4 and Xbox One in a relatively not necessarily long amount of time, it'll be less than a year, will be something that they need to do. And I also think that it gives people confidence that Square Enix is going to back this system. And I do feel that it would sell well, especially since the Xbox One necessarily isn't doing so hot in Japan. And Nintendo NX comes out with a bang and it sells well, then people could be looking to pick up Final Fantasy 15 for those who did not pick it up back in its original launch, because it is launching in a crowded time period. Personally, for me, I definitely buy the game again. I know I'm going to buy it on PS4, but I know I'd give the Nintendo NX version a shot, especially if there's advantages to the Nintendo NX version. If they add stuff, add new content, maybe there's some Mario stuff built in there or some extra things that they'll give for the Nintendo NX owners out there. So Final Fantasy 15 is definitely something that needs to be on the Nintendo NX in my opinion. Next, I want to move on to Kingdom Hearts 3 because I think that game has a very high chance of coming to Nintendo NX, just because it's going to take a little bit longer for that game to get going. It's coming out PS4 and Xbox One confirmed, but I'm not so sure about its status on Xbox One as far as who's going to buy that game. Are Kingdom Hearts fans on Xbox platforms? I'm not sure about that. We all know that Kingdom Hearts fans are on Sony platforms. That's probably the #1 place, but right after Sony platforms, it's definitely Nintendo. The GBA, Nintendo DS, and Nintendo 3DS all had Kingdom Hearts games and they all sold relatively well. There is definitely an audience for Kingdom Hearts on a Nintendo platform, and with Square Enix and Nintendo getting cozy with some of their other games, I can definitely see them porting this one over. And I also think, once again, it is a must to establish third-party support, and it's a must for Nintendo in Japan. As of right now, the Wii U is fading, and it's fading fast. They're going to need to do something to help with sales in Japan, otherwise it's pretty much going to just be 3DS, and it's going to be PS4 and Vita. Nintendo needs to establish themselves in the home console market and need to make sure that they get these games for the Japanese audience audience, but in addition to the American audience, and especially these universal appeal titles like a Kingdom Hearts, like a Final Fantasy that does well in all regions. Those are probably the most important titles for Nintendo to have in order to level out sales across the world. Now, don't get me wrong, Nintendo also needs big Western support, but I've talked about that before, and I'll talk about that again in a separate video. But as far as right now, we're discussing Square Enix and what Nintendo needs to do. I do think that Nintendo also needs to try to hook up with Square Enix's Western IPs. They have Hitman, they have Tomb Raider. Stuff like that needs to also be on the Nintendo NX. I think that Nintendo and Square Enix can work out something. You can look at it from a case-by-case basis, but do what you can to make sure you get big games like Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest on your system, because those are the type of games that help move systems when you don't have first-party content. And knowing Nintendo, there's going to be droughts as far as first-party content goes, but if they have the third-party content to make up for it, I think people are definitely going to be a lot more lenient on them than they were with the Wii U, where there was no third-party support really at all after 2014. So hopefully Nintendo can get things together. Square Enix is a major partner. Let me know who you guys want me to talk about next as far as publishers go and what Nintendo needs to do to get certain games. Put that in the comment section below. Please use the thumbs up button so I can know which one to talk about next, guys. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything on the Nintendo NX. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.